Hi, everybody. I thought it was about time that I spoke about my experience with the coronavirus, the COVID-19. I've been speaking to friends, family, etc., and they've all told me that I should actually come out onto social media and talk about my experience as they feel that it would be helpful to others. People are obviously very curious as to what the symptoms are, how I felt, how did I recover. It's been a few weeks now since I actually had the virus, and I've got to say it really, really, really knocked me back. It was physically one of the worst things I've ever had to deal with. I've had all kinds of injuries in my life. This really wasn't the same thing at all. It absolutely wiped me out. Uh, some parts of it were a blur. The timelines were a blur, and being on a lockdown now doesn't help. Days just seem to merge together. So it's all going to be pretty loose. But also, another thing that prompted me is the fact that I'm still seeing that a lot of people are very, very complacent. And in a way, I suppose that it may be a good thing that I had the virus because it eliminated any form of complacency. Um, if I go out anywhere, I'm wearing gloves. I'm not touching anything. I see everything as the coronavirus. Don't touch this. Don't touch that. It's extreme, but I suppose we're just going to be in a changed world after this. Let me come back to the actual virus itself and how I became sick. Um, so it was early March, and basically I thought I was catching a cold, and it I was working as per usual, and I remember I started feeling cold symptoms at the beginning of the week. Well, through a weekend, and at the beginning of the week they started to come through. So throughout that week they developed, and I thought that I had the flu basically. So I still worked up Monday through till Thursday. By Friday, it worsened, and by Friday, it knocked me back, and I stayed at home. And there I've been since. Like I said, this was early March. Um, it displays itself as a flu. I found that there's no real set pattern to how this thing um, comes out or displays itself. The symptoms were changed. They constantly changed, and I don't know whether to say they became progressive. They said the first thing you should look out for is a chesty cough, etc., and a temperature. I didn't have that till later. That started the chesty cough and the difficulty in breathing came in the last stages. What it done, it just hacked away at me piece by piece. Most of you would have heard it takes away your taste. I didn't have any appetite. I couldn't eat, I couldn't drink, so I became weaker. This made it very difficult to fight the virus. The chesty cough started to kick in, temperature was there. As I said, the symptoms changed. So I went through phases where I would have hot flushes, then cold flushes, migraine headaches, dizzy spells. It really was a mix and a bundle of almost everything, every kind of symptom you could think of. When the chest kicked in, it became extremely bad. And then I was bedridden by this point. So really, I was isolated in my room. So I had to stay away from my wife and my daughter as much as possible, and just stay in my room, in the bed. There wasn't anything else I could really do at this point. It started to affect my breathing. It became very shallow and rapid. And we were talking through the 111 system for about 3 days, back and forth, back and forth. And my wife was telling me, why don't we call the ambulance and go to hospital? I said, no, I'm not that kind of person. I don't really trouble myself with doctors or the hospitals. Because I know that the system's under strain, so I know nothing much is going to get done. So I don't really bother. I just handle things myself. Um, but as it all became worse, one morning, I looked at my wife and I was like a splatter on the bed. And I just said, call the ambulance, please, because I don't really know what I can do. My breathing was erratic. And as I said, I was really depleted. So we had an ambulance come out twice on 2 separate days. They confirmed that I did have the COVID-19 virus, and there was not much that they could really do, to be honest. They said to me, look, we can take you to hospital, but you're safer at home, which is obviously what we've been heard: stay at home, be safe. And I know there's an irony to that, because you go to hospital to get better. But they said basically there's so many viruses, there's so many things going on in the hospitals that you just don't know what else you might pick up whilst there and get worse. So they said actually you're safer, stay at home, it's your own environment. They said thankfully, due to my fitness, most of you that or people that will know me that know, obviously I'm a personal trainer and a boxing coach, so I keep myself fairly fit. And they said basically because thanks to my fitness levels, they said my vitals were still okay. So that's also another reason. They said, look, we believe that you can fight this, you can fight through it. And it was a real battle. It was if I liken it to a fight, the coronavirus, it knocked me down, but not out. So I got back up. We tussled. There were blows being thrown left, right, and center. There were counter punches. I was trying to fight off one symptom. Corona came back with another symptom at me. So it constantly ebbed and flowed and changed. I can look back and smile upon it now. But also, I really want to just deliver the message. It was really bad. It was really, really tough. Now, I'm not saying that there are any points where I thought that, okay, I'm not going to make it through this. I'm going to die. I'm mentally a very strong person, but I can't lie, it scared the hell out of me at certain points where I thought, okay, what the hell is going to happen next? Because my body doesn't know what to do. The second time we called the ambulance on a different day, I said to my wife, my body can't fight it. I haven't got the strength right now to do anything. And so it was nasty, to say the least. And I was very nervous. People asked me, what did I do? There wasn't a lot I could do. I prayed. I prayed. I hoped to God that my daughter wouldn't get sick. My wife wouldn't get sick. My wife actually did catch the virus too, but not as severely as I. We're not sure. My daughter, before myself getting sick, had a very bad cough. We don't know what it was. It was a season anyway for everybody to get sick with something or other. But really the message is, please take this virus seriously. Do what you can. Don't be complacent. Don't think, oh, it can't happen to me. Don't think, oh, you're immune, or don't be oblivious to the dangers. I know it's very difficult for people when they can't see, touch, or feel something. They don't necessarily believe it. So this thing is out there, but people can't see it unless you may have known somebody that's suffered from it in a bad way. Fortunately, most people may catch this in a very mild form. Some may just feel a little bit fuzzy and then recover. Hey, different things affect people in different ways. But for me, it was a very, very bad experience, and I wouldn't wish that upon anybody. And as we can see by what's happening on the news, many people are dying from this and suffering heavily from this. So please, what you hear, the negative side of this is true. So be safe, follow the right things, do the right things. Where I know there's people are talking about face masks, don't do anything. Me personally, I'm anytime I leave the house, I've got a face mask on, I've got gloves on, I'm not touching anything with my hands. I go to the supermarket, and it's quite a ball ache, to be honest, because it's just gloves, change this, change that, get to the checkout. Okay, have to take the glove off, get the wallet out, put the glove back on. It's hard work, but that's just the situation we're in at the moment. So people, stay as fit and as healthy as possible. It's great to see that people that never before took their health into consideration now are doing so. But be safe while you're doing this. If you're out jogging, be aware of what you're doing. Maybe wear a face mask, anything to just restrict the chances of picking up this virus. Just be cautious about what you do, where you place your hands, etc., etc. All the information I'm saying to you right now is the same things we've all heard before through the media, from the government, etc. And just don't be complacent. This virus has no prejudice. It has no selection of who it wants to target. It can target anybody. We can see it can kill, it can damage, and it's not a joke. So people, be safe, be healthy, look after yourselves, and do what needs to be done. Be patient as well. Take care.